much. Let me bring in our panel this morning. Dagan, Mark, Brian, Mercedes. A lot of stories here unfolding last night. Your reaction?
This was not a referendum on Joe Biden. It was not a no, Joe, you got to go. Mercedes and I were talking about this before the show. Despite the economy being the #1 voter concern based on the Fox News voter analysis, 61% of voters disapproved of the president's handling of the economy. But that's not how they went out and voted in many instances. This was about local elections and local candidates. The one area I was watching was my home state of Virginia, a trio of Virginia congressional races. There were 3 Democrat female incumbents to watch. 2 of the Democrat incumbents won. Abigail Spanberger in Virginia Congressional District 7 beat Yesley Vega, and Jennifer Wexton beat Hung Cao, a Vietnamese refugee Republican there in Virginia, the District 10. But Jen Kiggins ousted Elaine Luria. So one Republican wins, ousts Elaine Luria, 2 Democrats hold their seats. That kind of captures, if you look at the messaging and the spending and how they connected with their voters, that kind of captures what has gone on across the entire nation.
I was very surprised at a number of Hispanic women. You mentioned Vega. She, I thought, had an incredible shot, Yesley Vega. I also am very surprised at Mayra Flores in Texas, which we have to get to. But probably one of the big stories of the night right here. The New York Post cover, The Future. DeSantis in Florida, the Wall Street Journal writes, the DeSantis Florida tsunami. Mark, your thoughts?
Well, look, I think overall, we went to sleep in a divided country. You woke up in a divided country. There's slight movements here, with the exception of Florida. Florida was clearly a landslide for the Republicans. And I do think the fact that DeSantis was seen as not adverse to Trump, but almost the next Trump, in many ways, I think he comes out of this as the likely presidential nominee for the Republicans if he's willing to go toe-to-toe with Donald Trump, and that he has a real chance to win, showing a kind of 20-point margin in Florida and bringing with him, I think, the rest of the state, an incredibly impressive accomplishment. But the rest of the country, the issues were in line, particularly with the Republicans. People were unhappy with the economy, but it was not a referendum on Biden. They didn't like Biden. They didn't like Trump. They didn't like the Democrats. They didn't like the Republicans. It's a country looking for leadership.
And I'm wondering if that was part of the New York story, because Lee Zeldin had so much support. We thought we were going to see an upset in the gubernatorial race in New York. A lot of people from New York moved to Florida. I'm wondering if that impacted things as well. Brian, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, I was out in Zeldin's district yesterday talking to folks at the diner, and that was the theme. They said, I've had so many neighbors who would have been Zeldin supporters who don't live in New York anymore. Right. That had to play a role here, Maria.
Yeah, Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, with Zeldin, look, it goes back to organization. It goes back to fundraising. Democrats dominated on both those aspects when it came to many of these races. I do believe that this is the narrative is the incumbents were winning. They were going against many of them first-time politicians that really did not have all the backing. I think the Republicans had a stronger message, but I do think when it comes to midterm elections, it's a get out the vote efforts, and this is where the Democrats did very well, especially in states like Pennsylvania. Now you look at Florida, that's where Ron DeSantis' machine came out, and you saw the flip happen in many of these counties, especially Miami-Dade County, which went for Biden back in 2020. Right. Now it's DeSantis country.
Great point on Miami-Dade.
A family member of mine from California called me last night and said, what the heck was happening in Florida? And I said, it is Ron DeSantis' pandemic policies, because he kept the state open and he stood by kids.
That's one of the biggest stories, I think, of the night, how well DeSantis is doing and has done in Florida. We are covering all of these races all morning long. We've got much more ahead. Quick break, and then we're watching the midterms. Stay with us.